Oh my goodness. All right.
All right.
Tweeter this out here.
I don't see you live.
He's live.
Oh, he is? Okay, then Twitch is just being dumb.
He is somehow live and hosting Vorpal at the same time, though.
Yep.
There we go.
And running an ad at the same time.
That's how you get the big bucks.
Oh, wait a minute. Through October 31st, subscribe or gift a sub to collect permanent K-pop emotes.
Oh shit!
Sing and dance with your fellow music fans.
Hold on.
You heard him here, guys. Everybody needs to sub right now, and they can get some K-pop emotes. Nodal, let me ask you a question.
K-pop emote.
If there's one thing you think about when you think about Brickroad's Twitch streams, it's K-pop emotes.
Oh, for sure. There's a place that sells bubble tea down by school, and it's just like this dungeon ass entrance, and then you go in and the entire place is pink, and they blast K-pop the entire time. It's incredible.
I watched a really bad Korean horror movie the other night, and I don't remember what it was called. So that's the end of that story.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
You all were investigating, chasing up leads on the Ponce, Choreo Fireblood, and his... Oh, you know what I should probably do is pull up my notes on this campaign that I'm trying to run.
Yeah.
Would be helpful.
I mean...
We watched The Puppet Master because we found out that the most recent movie in the series was called The Puppet Master: The Littlest Reich.
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't want to watch that one. But then we found out it's about just puppets killing Nazis, so it probably would have been...
But have you watched the Leprechaun movies?
Does he kill Nazis?
There's like 80 of them, I'm sure he does at some point.
I exclusively watch tiny creatures killing Nazis.
So,
That's the
okay,
only kind of movie.
in one movie he kills rappers, and in another movie he kills aliens. There's an alien one there's one that takes place in space.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's the one I remember.
Oh, that one's called Leprechaun in Space.
Right, yes.
So you guys
Nailed
were going to investigate this tower, which has surprising magical properties in that the tower can be seen in the distance above the tree line from everywhere along that northern edge of that wood, which is many, many, many miles, stretching from one road to the other. En route to the tower, you got reined in at the Best House.
Best Western.
Shenanigans happened that took 3 weeks to resolve. And now, Vladislav is traveling along with you.
Oh no, we found this puppy. He won't go away.
Well, that's going to be my question, is what do you do with Vladislav?
He doesn't want to go back to, what... We have a thing we have to do. He either comes with us or he doesn't.
That's what I mean. Do you tell him what you're doing and why? Or do you just tell him what you're doing but leave out the why? Or
I think we should leave out both of it.
Try to ditch him in the woods?
Yes!
Like we're in high school?
Look, we already know what it takes to murder him.
It's not hard.
See, if this
Can we
is
murder him?
this is
Well,
where I misread.
Vladislav told you he's got particularly choice information on mopping up the last of the Flying Pigs lieutenants still in Dunfoss, who he assures you are going to cause great damage to Dunfoss if they're not dealt with. The reason he left Dunfoss is because he's essentially on their shit list. He was like number 3 in this pecking order. They decided they had no use for him and were going to sew him up.
So telling him to pike off is probably not in our best interests.
I mean,
Well, I
he'll
don't
say
see
so.
any reason to give him our intentions, though.
No.
Yeah.
So, he can come with us and make himself useful if he wants us to deal with this lieutenant problem that they're going to kill his ass.
I mean,
Are any of you carrying a tent?
Let me look. I have a lot of stuff in the bag and on Scrappy.
I was about to say, if we do, it's on Scrappy, because we were told not to worry that Scrappy had all the stuff.
Wait, who said that?
Alexander?
I don't even have a bedroll. I just have all my stuff.
Okay.
Like, I have a ton of crafting kits and stuff, but nothing like that.
I have a bedroll, but I can put up a dome of impenetrable force.
Oh, that's right. You have a ritual for that, right?
Yeah.
When it becomes clear that you guys are going to go investigate this tower, Vladislav has no particular desire to join in this dangerous endeavor with you. In fact, he cautions you that this is the kind of thing that adventurers would typically do. And adventurers have a very high propensity for dying in situations like this.
Here's the counter argument to that, Vladislav. We're not adventurers. We're investigators. We have been commissioned and paid to investigate this tower.
He asks you, what are the chances that you're adventurers and also delusional?
Non-zero.
So he's happy to travel with you to the perimeter of the tower.
Mm-hmm.
And he's happy to make camp for up to a week while you guys investigate the premises. If for some reason you vanish into this tower and he waits 7 days and there is no sign or trace of you, he is going to assume that you are dead, like hundreds of adventurers before you, and he's going to continue on his way.
Is
that agreeable to everyone?
Yes. Can we send
fine
you a
with me.
message? Can we send you a message if we're like delayed longer than that? Just to let you know we're not dead. I don't foresee that happening. I mean, a week is a long time.
He makes it pretty clear that after 7 days, that will be a long delay as it is. The reason he's willing to delay that long is because you are very valuable allies to him in the short term.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you end up being enemies at the end, taking out Skada and this third party that he has not yet identified. Very pointedly not.
Mm-hmm.
But after 7 days, either you're dead or you've demonstrated that the short-term alliance isn't in his best interests. And either way, he will take his chances elsewhere.
Yeah. I do tell him, though, that if the third party that he hasn't identified turns out to be named third party, we're done.
Yeah.
Don't I actually have an NPC named third party?
Yeah,
You
there's
do.
no
Yeah, you do.
You absolutely do.
Oh, I'm so funny.
Yeah.
Funny.
Oh, we believe that you believe that.
McDohl, I feel like that little sarcastic noise you made implied that I'm not funny.
Hey, Bricker, want me to tell you something that's going to bum you out?
What's that?
I thought it was pretty funny.
This is why Nodal's my favorite.
Like I said, we believe that you believe that you are funny.
We accept it.
I choose
you know
to
what?
believe that Nodal sincerely thought it was funny.
And you know what? You fake it till you make it.
I'm always sincere.
I can't tell if that was a sincere remark from Nodal.
He just said he's always sincere.
Yeah, I feel like that question is answered by my statement.
Asked and answered.
People are asking a lot of questions that are already answered by my statement.
So periodically, you guys have to get somebody up above the tree line to kind of reorient yourself. And Vladislav makes note of this too, as you're traveling through the woods, is that there is some sort of spatial interference in the woods. Distances and directions are skewed, sometimes greatly. Like there's a huge just anomaly throughout these woods. One day you watch the sun rise in the east and you don't make any major turns as you're heading off, keeping your bearing towards the tower in the distance, and that evening the sun sets in the east, indicating that somewhere along the line you had gotten turned completely around. Is anybody carrying a compass or some kind of mundane navigation device?
No.
No.
No, it doesn't look like it. Lucius is capable of flying with a short rest,
Okay.
so he's able to at least get above the tree line and get a bearing.
And you find this to be an extremely necessary task, as you do see the tower getting closer and closer in the distance. But if you were to try to chart your course...
Well, I do have a set of cartographer's tools, and I could probably make a compass if I thought that was useful with my tinker's tools.
Are you going to try?
Yeah.
So you set up this little device with a magnetic bobber in there, and you just can't get a reliable reading on it, no matter what you do.
Okay.
It's like, Alex, is it supposed to do that?
Only if we're the ones who are spinning.
Also, were the tubes necessary?
Yeah, no, otherwise it wouldn't have enough magnetic fluence.
Okay.
I think you just made that word up, Alexander.
But were the dancing girls necessary?
Yes.
Lucius,
Yes.
on your third day of travel through the woods, which by your reckoning is longer than it should take to get from the Bicklebell house to the edge of the woods in any direction, going somewhat northerly. But the third day, you see the tower closer than you've ever seen it before, and you start to see, if there were details to be seen on the tower, you would be close enough to see them. But what it actually looks like now that you're this close is an enormous sandstone block. Has this like kind of beigeish yellow coloration to it. And how high up are you willing to fly?
I'm willing to fly up above the canopy of trees, but probably not too much higher than that.
Okay. From this perspective, it looks like the tower may be a mile, not quite a mile out. So relatively close. And flying up above the canopy of trees, you're expecting to see like the tower foundation where it meets the ground. Typically a tower would have a bigger footprint at the bottom than at the top. But looking at it, you think you can see like green foliage underneath at the very base of the tower. And at this angle and this distance, it looks incredibly bizarre to you. Like, you could not build a tower that's a giant sandstone structure balancing perilously on tree branches or whatever you're seeing.
I'll dip back down below the tree line. Really excited to pass on the news that it looks like we're closer than we've been before. Which is a sentence I've never thought it had to say, but apparently now we do.
Are we doing anything else before marching onward?
So it looks like it's just like right there, Lucius.
About a mile away.
Yeah, let's go on about another half mile, and then you can check again to see if it's still there. And if it is, then we'll be fine. Otherwise, we might have to work out some way of getting us all flying above the trees.
I'll have to dock myself a spell slot for that then.
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Note that Lucius, you still have that sending stone in case you need to make any emergency communications.
Lucius, if you want, I can send my familiar up rather than you burning another slot. We don't know how dangerous this tower is going to be.
Fair enough.
So you guys march for about another half mile or so. And just as Seeker is about to send, what is it, like a flying earthworm at this point?
No, it's still just a flying cat. Called the Tressum.
So we've stuck with the Tressum for like a bunch of weeks in a row now.
I'm a big fan of the Tressum. If I'm
What-
going
I
to
miss
be completely
Tony.
honest. Tony was all right. Tony was pretty good.
You're about to send the Tressum up above the tree line. And when the rest of you are looking, you're kind of standing... The woods have thinned out here and there. And you're kind of standing at the top of this hill. This kind of just gradual slope. You've been going up and down hills for the past couple of days. But when you reach the crest of this one and look down, what you see is this beautiful, very well-maintained 6 or 8 foot tall hedge with a stone road leading to it. The stone road comes out of the hedge into your direction and snakes forward to about where this it meets the base of this very gently steeped hill, and then it very abruptly stops there.
You want to mark that as an invitation?
Yeah, that's pretty inviting.
Vladislav takes this as a cue to set up camp in this area. He's perfectly happy to spend a few days here if need be.
Certainly.
You guys have scoped out water source nearby. There's game to hunt if you need food, so we're not going to need to worry about resources in that vein at least. And he wishes you the best of luck on your fool's errand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was given to us by the Ponce, so it's literally a fool's errand.
Yeah. So real talk, when we're out of earshot of Vladislav, real talk,
Yeah.
we don't need to stay here more than a week anyway. Like, if we don't find anything in a week, then, you know, we should just leave.
So what's next?
Do you guys need a rest, or are we gonna just head into the tower?
Let's take a short rest so that our resident Mr. Short Rest Man can have all his spell slots.
Okay.
That seems fair to me.
Okay. All right then. I'll get my spell slots back then.
I'll spend the short rest casting detect magic once to see if the local area has magic, and then time a second one to end with the end of the rest, so that I have 10 minutes or so in the tower.
Wait, what are you doing?
I'm going to cast detect magic as a ritual twice, once at the start of the rest and once at the end of the rest.
Okay. Make an Arcana check.
Hey, welcome back, me. That's 28.
The only magic you detect in the area where Vladislav is setting up camp, so it's like at the top of this top of this crest, it's going to go down to where this road begins, is the magic you brought with you. Your various magic items, whatever spell effects you have, your goddamn Tressum, etc.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some kind of weird spatial warping happening here. And you are a wizard, which means you actually care about how magic works. You're not like one of these dickhead sorcerers, just like, oh, I'm just magic myself, so I don't have to care how it works. Bards are even worse. I freaking can't stand bards.
Right.
And then warlocks are just like, oh, Satan told me this is how it works, and I just believe Satan.
Or a unicorn.
But as a wizard who actually has done some study into the functioning of magic, these types of warpings and spatial awarenesses might be related to how this plane of existence intersects with nearby planes, which could explain why you're seeing these anomalies, but it's not tripping detect magic. It's not strictly magical, it's just a weird quirk of one nature intersecting with another nature.
Does it seem like it gets any worse near the tower?
It's been pretty bad for a couple of days, and even traveling to Picklebell House, you recall the road not always being what it should be.
Yeah.
In that case, it was a temporal anomaly, not a spatial anomaly, though. That was time messing with you, and this time it's space messing with you. And you're starting to think maybe these whole woods are just bad news.
Yeah, I let everyone know that. And given that the tower itself is what is visible from the outside world, I warn them that we might see some even weirder effects once we get in there.
So go ahead and take the benefits of the short rest. And you guys are going to be approaching this map from the south.
Good to know.
I tried to find this, whatever this neutral party is. I tried to find like their website, but I guess that's the only website they have is their Patreon. So if you like this map, I found it on Google image search, and that's the only identifying mark that's on it. So enjoy.
Hey, I mean, at least there was one.
I remember a year or two ago, because I get most of my maps from Google image searches like that. I remember a year or two ago, I found like some guy's blog, like a tutorial on how to remove these marks from your maps. And I'm like, what kind of dick are you? Why would you do that?
I mean, we were part of the RPG Maker community.
That's true, but I never once said, guys, these aren't Chrono Trigger graphics. So, approaching from the north, here's the weird things. As you start down this hill, as the trees start to disappear behind you, the enormous sandstone tower is still there. It's floating over this courtyard. And it does not cast a shadow in any direction. So the courtyard that you're looking into is bright all the way across. As you get close enough, the hedges are indeed about 8 foot tall, and you've got some stairs leading up from this cobblestone road. The road you're on, the lawn next to the road, the hedge itself looks very well maintained. And looking up the stairs, in the center of the courtyard, you see a fountain that is burbling with beautiful, crystal clear water.
And so the tower is like above this?
The tower is floating above the entire courtyard.
Okay. Second question, do the hedges cast a shadow?
Yes.
Okay.
Look up at the tower and say, well, that explains why you can see it from anywhere on the north end of the wood, eh?
Looking up at the tower from this close, no windows, no parapets, no doors, no battlements, no outside stairs, no features of any kind, no banners, no coloration, no flag. You don't even see debris from where birds have pooped or flown into it. Nothing. Completely featureless except for being this kind of just pale yellow color stone.
Okay, so how do we get into Lunatic Pandora?
The mind that flight is probably out.
I actually would prefer if we step forward. I don't want to send my Tressum up there to die. Let's step forward and check to see, because I'm assuming this is the entrance area. So one of these things probably contains the means of getting into that tower, or else why would it exist? So while I have my Detect Magic up, let's get a look at it.
I'm gonna order Scrappy to run up to that fountain.
Oh, my phone's not here.
Before anybody else heads in there.
Nodal, I will give you one position somewhere in this courtyard to investigate with Detect Magic. Because you have to cast it and then walk down the hill.
In that case, it's going to be the fountain.
The fountain in the center?
Yeah.
Bear with me just 1 second. There's a reading of conjuration magic from the whole area as you're walking through it that gets stronger and stronger as you get to about this point, walking towards the fountain, and then slightly weaker as you get to the fountain itself.
Okay.
But the whole area is radiating powerful magic, and the conjuration is what you're able to pick out from kind of the white noise.
Yeah. And I let everyone know that this is some sort of there's that conjuration aura, and also this seems like it might turn into some sort of barrier if that's what's being conjured.
Did Scrappy was Scrappy able to approach the?
Yes, you're able to get as close to the fountain as you like.
Okay. Are these statues here?
Come over here and investigate this closest statue.
Okay. Looking at the statue itself, I don't want to say featureless because it's not literally featureless, but it's very generic. It's of a humanoid creature wearing some kind of plate armor, but it doesn't have any adornments to it. It doesn't have any markings to indicate what race might have forged it or how old it might be. and it's holding a greatsword in front of it, with both of its mailed hands grabbing the pommel of the sword, and the sword is plunged into the ground. And it's standing on a stone base, and on the front of the base is a plaque, like a bronze placard, and it reads 9 ice. Now, there can't possibly be Roman numerals in this world because there wasn't a Rome, but whatever this world's equivalent of Roman numerals is what the number is using.
So it's a kind of antiquated or
It's
awkward
a very
form of-
an antiquated form of counting that they're using here.
Does do I recognize is that in terms of the letters and glyphs being used to spell this out? Is that in the common alphabet, or is it like in Elven or anything else like that I might know?
It's in common.
Okay,
Not
so it's
only is it in
common
common,
script, but it uses an antiquated form of indicating the number.
but it looks very strange because you've got this very antiquated numeral that looks like it might have been from hundreds of years ago in an old text from a lost civilization. And then you've got this very modern looking script that just spells out ice.
Okay. Well, I'll start going around this way if you guys want to go the other way.
Yeah, let's check each of these statues. 'Cause I have a feeling.
I'm gonna have Scrappy just on patrol. He's just gonna be very casually walking circles around this.
So let me give you a kind of more general description of the area since you guys are kind of wandering around. All of the plant life is pristine. These hedges are maintained daily. Somebody is clipping these back. The lawns are soft, clean, and very short. Not a stone is out of place. There's very welcoming benches set around. All of these trees are just big enough to cast very welcoming shade around them, but not any of them are too big to dominate the other features around. This is an incredibly well-maintained garden. You can't even find a loose cobblestone if you start kicking the ground with the toe of your boot. So let's go around with Destil here, since he's going to you're going to these outside statues?
Yeah.
We'll do these first. The one you're standing in front of now reads 12 elevator.
Okay.
This one reads 4 mirrors. This one reads 5 snake. This one reads 11 swamp. This one reads 7 song. This one reads 10 armory. And this last one on the outside reads 6 tree.
And I'm just gonna come back over here. Is this one still 9 ice?
Yes. Not only that, but all of these statues, when you look at them, look identical. You're sure if you really sat down and scrutinized them, you could find imperfections in the stone, differences between them, but it's very clear that each of the actual sculpts of the stone are intended to be identical.
Humanoid, plate mail, holding a greatsword.
Yep. And so, Seeker, you're checking out these 4 inside ones?
Yep.
The one you're standing next to right there says 8 crank.
Okay, and then counterclockwise.
That one reads 1 alcoves.
Okay. Next one. The top left.
That one reads 3 wings.
All right, and the last one.
The last one reads 2 slides.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 8.
There's 12.
Yeah, I
And
know.
there's 12 numbers.
There is 12 numbers. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just seeing if any of the numbers were missing. That's all.
These are the same statue. Are they also the humanoids with great swords and plate mail?
That's correct.
Okay.
And when you guys get this close to the fountain in the center, the water looks crystal clear. like a natural spring would. And again, you don't see anything in the fountain to suggest that it's worn or aged at all. The fountain itself is probably only about 2 feet deep, like a short wading pool. The water is bubbling up from the center, coming out into an arc, spilling out into the top basin, which then overflows into the bottom basin.
All right, top of your head, folks, what do you think we're dealing with here? Because I have a suspicion. I want to see if anyone else agrees.
I mean, I think it might be some sort of, these are all the different ways to get into the tower, and that you have to do something to activate to reach a specific room, maybe?
That's my thinking as well. These are all the rooms of the tower that we can access from here, and I'm assuming the fountain is involved because it's so obvious. By which I mean the fountain itself is like obvious, not that like it's an obvious means of entrance.
Do you want to just throw something in the fountain and see if it goes? If a fairy comes out and asks us if this is ours or not?
Is there anything on the statue that would hold water?
There's probably divots here and there that you might.
But nothing that looks like.
None of them
like
are holding a
obvious
bowl or a goblet or anything. If that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
I'm going to come over to this number 3, and I want to do a really thorough look, like, check with my hands, use a probe for my thieves' tools, see if I can find any, like, switches or hidden releases or anything on this statue.
You're looking for buttons, huh?
Yeah.
Are you touching the statue doing this?
Yes.
Okay. Make a roll a d20.
It's a 4 on a d20.
So Alex approaches the statue, number 3, wings, and it's probably good for a few moments, and vanishes out of sight.
All right, Alex,
God.
did you have Featherfall?
Yeah.
All right, I'll touch it as well.
Okay. Roll a d20. Well, let me ask, what are you doing? Just putting your hand on it and resting it there?
I'm putting my hand exactly where Alex touched it.
Okay.
That's an 8.
8. And after a few seconds, Seeker also vanishes out of sight.
Hellfire and Damnation. Lucius goes and touches the same spot.
Same spot. The intention is just put your hand up there and hold it until you...
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, after a
I
few
rolled a
seconds...
20.
Or if you're just holding your hand there until you vanish, that's... Unless you're doing anything else, be specific. But if you're just putting your hand up and waiting, then yeah, you vanish after a few moments.
Yeah, that's it too, yeah. I rolled a 20 on that.
Florian
Okay.
looks at Gus. Well,
Come on, same time.
all right. 1, 2, 3.
What?
Touch.
And
Both of you roll
we
d20.
both- A 20 for Gus.
Florian?
14 for Florian.
Florian, you vanish. And Gus, for a few seconds, you're just standing there. What do you do?
Just stare up at the sky going...
Well, there's no sky. If you stare up from that position, you're seeing the bottom of this giant sandstone tower.
Right, I'm looking at the bottom of the sandstone tower, and I'm still got my hand here.
Okay? And after a few more seconds, you vanish as well.
Okay, I was
Now-
about to say I take my hand off, but yeah, cool.
I got to be very careful about overwriting these maps, because I don't want to lose your guys' notes.
Just as a precaution, I'll print screen.
Okay. All right. I have to go back and forth to my notes quite a lot during this adventure, so I get make absolutely sure I don't screw anything up. Alex.
Yeah.
Your surroundings are as follows.
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you? You're this one. So you were investigating the tower, and one moment you're like down on your knees probing, and with your hands on part of the statue, and with no fanfare, no feeling of no like wrenching sensation or anything. Now you're in a very dark place.
Okay.
On the you have tile floors. In fact, I can give you a little bit more than this because you do have dark vision.
I've got 120 feet of dark vision.
So you're kind of in this 10-foot wide hallway with tile floors, 5-foot tiles. Very convenient for actually designing a map by hand.
Yeah.
Funny how that works. On the floor where you show up, there's a large circle with very fine, maybe white or silver powder. You can't really tell its coloration because there's no light source.
Mm-hmm.
In a wide circle all around you, 10 foot wide.
Okay.
In the very center of this circle, on the floor is a depression. It's a diamond-shaped depression, and around one side of it, you can't be sure which side because your compass is doing wheelie birds, but along one side of it is what looks like a ridge, so one side is higher than the other. And just as you're kind of examining your immediate surroundings, the rest of your friends and family start popping in on top of you. In the order...
Physically on top of me?
Well, in this circle somewhere.
Okay. And I'm inside the circle.
Yes, everybody appears inside the circle in that...
Before they show up, I'm just going to throw my arm out. Can I breach the circle?
What do you mean? Like try to move the powder?
I'm just going to reach my hand out and over the circle and see if the circle impedes it.
No, not at all.
Okay, then as my friends start popping in, I'll move out of the way to make some space.
Okay.
Secret looks around and says, well, I wouldn't have chosen wings, but this doesn't seem so bad.
And some of you move to one side, some of you move to the other. I need Gus and Florian each to roll me a d20, please.
$11.
11. What about Gus?
I got a 4, sorry.
4. Gus vanishes. As some of you pop into the circle and move out of the way, Gus and Florian stay in the circle. Gus is only there for a few moments, and he vanishes out of sight again. Let me describe the rest of this little room you found yourself in.
I'll grab Florian, drag him to the side.
You have identical little divots every 10 feet in the floor. Little depressions in the floor with a little ridge on one side. And it is consistent. It's the same side on every single ridge.
Mm-hmm.
The walls are made with similar tiles to the floor. They're smooth. They feel like they might be granite. Because they're very smooth. They're very cold to the touch as well. The ceiling is about 12 feet above you, and it looks fairly modular. It looks fairly uniform. Looking down this way, at this dead end, is a fresco on the wall of the angelic creature. It's missing its left arm and left wing. In its right arm, it's holding a flaming sword. Lucius, looking down this dead end, you see a fresco of a devilish creature, of a infernal creature that's missing its right arm and its right wing, and its left arm, it's holding a treacherous-looking barbed whip. Gus, what do? You show back up outside with your just next to the statue.
Oh. I'm going to get Scrappy.
Okay.
And I'm going to make him touch the. I'm going to hold one of his paws up to the same spot and let him disappear, and then I'm going to follow him back.
So you put Scrappy's paw on the statue?
Yep.
How long do you hold it there?
Up to a minute.
And after a minute, Scrappy has not vanished. So you guys inside this little hole, there's no other doors or entrances that you can see, and Gus has not returned yet.
I'm going to put the continual flame coin out of my belt pouch.
Okay.
Just to get some light in the situation.
When you get light in the situation, you see that the powder on the ground is yellow in color. It looks like it could be a powderized version of what's making up the sandstone structure above your head. You can also see the 2 frescoes are painted on the wall in glorious, brilliant colors. Very, very vivid indeed. To the point where you can see details far in the background of each one that would have taken a skilled painter an enormous amount of time. These are legitimate works of art.
Can you make another one of those light coins, or?
Yeah, for 50 gold in I think 8 hours.
Oof. Okay, I don't know how. To
Hold on, and I take one of the old discs from Druduf the Cosmic, and I put the light, stupid Artificer class infusement on it. So that's 5 feet of light.
I'll catch it from Alexander, and then say, "There's a." I'll describe the image on this side. Similar kind of coloration and prettiness.
Yes, extremely vivid. Extremely vivid. The difference is looking at this glorious artwork in the northern dead end. I'm saying northern, but I might be lying to you.
Sure.
No, fair.
We're just gonna assume that there's a commonality north for discussions purposes, even if that is not true north.
Okay.
West.
Looking at the northern dead end, it's a glorious, beautiful image. Like you might see in like a lawful good cathedral, one of these gods that believes in like celestials and angels and things. Whereas this one here is horrific to look upon. Lakes of fire and torment spreading out behind this fiendish creature that's taking up most of the fresco. Without the light source, you wouldn't be able to see the details in the background at all, just the creature. And it's the same for the angel in the north.
I want to investigate this divot a little bit more closely and see if I can figure out what might fit into it.
Okay.
Like if there's a mechanical piece or anything like that.
If you had a diamond-shaped coin, you might be able to put it down in there. It doesn't look like the ridge that forms up over one side of it would impede the progress of anything being placed into the diamond groove in the floor.
Does it look like there's any separation of the parts? Like that part of it might rotate and part of it might not? Like, does it look like there's a cut underneath it? Like, does it look like I could put a key in there and turn it?
Screwing around with it for a few minutes, using some various tools and things, it's just a depression in the floor.
Okay.
Doesn't look like there's any moving parts.
Yeah, if this is a device, it's magical.
Gus, what's it with you?
I'm gonna touch the statue again.
How long do you hold your hand there?
As long as it takes.
Roll d20.
11.
11. Yeah, after just a few moments, you appear. And now there's light. Back here in the circle.
Boop, boop. I'm gonna step out of the circle.
Which way? Down here.
This
okay.
way.
And yeah, you see Lucius is holding his light source up to the wall. And you see this horrific, horrible image.
Someone you know, Lucius?
Yeah, your mom.
Oh, the bird sauce. Gus disappears again.
Oh, shit.
He's just gone.
Gus just melts into the floor.
Well,
He's never seen again.
Gustavus, you've called our good friends the Seeker in the Dark a soulless homunculus. Like, don't give none unless you're willing to take some, right? Isn't that how it works?
I didn't call him a soulless homunculus. I had on good authority he became a soulless homunculus.
Good authority.
When he was
See, I hadn't heard this story before, so anyway, no,
So
I don't
next?
recognize the
Seeker.
entity here.
yeah.
Approaching that close to the wall.
Yeah.
Because Alex is holding the light source behind you.
Yeah.
Standing here, you can see the figure in the foreground and all of these great, brilliant details in the background. Standing here, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. That is a 15.
15. You see more and
Oh, wait,
more.
I'm sorry. Is it against magic?
Yes.
18.
You see more and more details in the picture. The closer you look, standing right next to the wall, it's close enough now that you can reach out and touch it.
Yeah.
The closer you look, the more and more detail you see. It doesn't matter where you focus on the image. You pick like a speck of grass that's just background, but as you focus on it, it's like you're looking across an infinite distance. You see glorious cities, towns, celebrations. You see well-maintained roads. You see into this infinite expanse, and for a moment, it feels very overwhelming. Like the sensation washes over you that you want to step forward into this world that this angel is guarding, because it's a place of infinite joy and celebration and peace. And you shake your head, and the sensation wears off pretty quickly.
All right, I will step back and I'll call out to the other side. Lucius, don't get too close to the painting. I think they want us to enter them. They might be some sort of portal.
Maybe.
Also,
Okay.
Alex,
Mhm.
it doesn't look like Scrappy can use the statues.
And so how did you get out?
What do you mean, how did I get out? I was
Well,
here.
you popped in and then you disappeared. What did you do to get out?
I landed on my butt. Like, I was here and then I wasn't.
All right, I'll step into here and intentionally fall onto my butt.
Roll a d20.
4.
How long do you sit there?
6 seconds.
Yeah, within 6 seconds, you vanish. You show up back outside at the statue where Scrappy is sitting diligently.
All right, well, I don't want to get sucked into another realm just yet, and I'm curious what's in the rest of these statues. So I say we make our way back out. I'll step on there. I'm not going to.
I'm gonna move away from the statue so my companions don't land on top of me again.
Florian looks really temptingly at the painting.
Which one? From that distance, with 5 feet, it just looks like this incredibly beautiful painting.
There's
With
no light
exquisite
anymore except
detail.
for the 5 feet around Lucius.
Seeker, how long do you sit there?
Let's give it a minute.
Yeah, after a minute, no problems. After a few seconds, you show up back outside.
So it didn't take him long to do the thing, huh? Alright. Step in.
Are there actual symbols around it? I forget.
No, it's actually just a circle on the floor. This is just what this is just what I found in the dungeon builder. I'm like, that's close enough.
Lucius calls out to the others and says, just be careful, don't disturb the powder, although I think I probably should go without saying.
Lucius, you say that. You watched Alex step here and deliberately fall on his butt.
Mm-hmm.
There should be trails in this powder. There should be a big butt-shaped indentation. There should be powder skid across the tile where he might have kicked it with his boot. There's not. It looks exactly the same as when you first entered. And then
That's
you vanish.
weird. That's very weird.
Gustavus,
Yeah. What you need?
at some point, we will go into the paintings. He steps onto the...
Alexander, you flounced yourself down on that circle, and
Yeah.
Lucius steps out of the way for where presumably the others will be popping in short order. And he says, from what it looked like you flounced onto the ground and looked like you should have knocked some powder all over the place, but there wasn't a speck of it out of place.
Well, that's good to know.
Are
Also,
Florian
I don't
and,
think you...
are Florian and Gus going back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Roll each of you roll BD20.
I wonder what the magic number is.
3.
21.
20.
Gus, what'd you get?
3.
A 3. Gus, you show up first. Florian, Gus vanishes. And you're sitting there for a few seconds. It feels like a little too long for you. And then you vanish as well.
Oh.
Now, I'm going to be super careful and make sure to overwrite the correct map. This is number 3, yes. And you guys find yourselves, one at a time, over the course of the next minute or two, back out in the courtyard in front of the number 3 statue, where Scrappy is also just standing guard.
Okay, so here's putting this together with our new information. The tower belongs to some sort of portal mage who has used it to create various paths. Does that sound right to everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
And so wings seems fairly self-explanatory given what we saw in there.
Do you want to start with number 1, or do you want to? I just went into wings because it seemed like it was the least likely to kill me, given that I can cast Featherfall. And Alex kind of just pulls a long drag off his cigarette.
No, that's why I followed you. Is because I assumed we would be fine. I say we do it that way. Yeah, we assume that whatever one we go in, there's nothing to say that this isn't going to be a trap that will cause us to go through. That painting certainly seemed to want me to do so, and so we go through in the order that seems least hazardous.
Why don't we just start at 1 and work our way up to 12?
Because 1 might kill us more than 12.
I think alcove seems pretty okay.
It's like we do not have enough information to determine one way or the other whether 1 is going to kill us.
Elevator is more likely to kill you than the alcove.
I have a theory, but I want to explore these options a little more because I'm getting something's pinging in the back of my head of an old story one of my grandfathers told me.
Alcoves seems pretty good. I would prefer alcoves over something like armory.
Ice seems like one of the worst ones to me.
Okay, all right. My suggestion is, go with me here. Slides.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I'm with you.
I would.
Why don't we save slides as a
Parliamentary-
reward for doing number 1? It's only the next one in the order.
I was actually going to ask you how much you wanted to do 1, just because if we went by that order, slides would be next.
Parliamentary note. Please recall the last time we had something involving slides.
I do not recall such a time.
Pointing at Gustavus and whoever the other person was that crashed on top of Lucius in a heap after a slide.
So you're saying you should go first, Lucius?
I mean,
I just think it's easiest to start with alcove because it's easier to remember where we've gone. And hold off a second. You said Scrappy didn't go through the portal?
No, yeah.
Yeah, I'll order Scrappy to willingly go over here and put one of his paws on the thing.
He does. He reaches up, places his paw on the base of the statue, and you wait. And you wait.
You order him willingly to do that. Really
Well, maybe, because I think you just took his paw and, put it on there, right? Maybe it's a question of doing it yourself versus, maybe I can't push someone into a statue and throw them into another room. But, alright, Scrappy, you stay here. You see us come out and anyone's attacking us, you defend us.
Can I see those cartographer's tools, Alex? Do you have a spare sheet of paper I could use?
Yeah.
I'll
pull
just
out
start keeping
photographer's
notes
set.
on the things that we went through.
Oh, if you just need pen and parchment, I got that.
Well, I want to do it with cartographer's tools because I want to test 2 theory.
Okay.
The forest itself, I've heard that people who write their maps here make exceedingly good maps.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if that's a spillover effect from some enchantment that this portal mage has cast. And if so, might it be most powerful here?
Okay.
Whatever.
Good point.
All right, guys.
If you want, we can spend
Just
time
to
making
split
map
that
maps.
hair a little bit, it actually is incredibly accurate maps, not incredibly good maps. Maps are works of art.
They're accurate maps, then.
Incredibly accurate maps. It's
I'm
better to
going
have it's better to have an aesthetically nice looking map than an accurate one. At this point in history.
Lucius, so it looks to the others and says, "Well then, shall we?" Lucius steps up to the thing and finds the spot on the statue that he touched over on this side and touches the same spot.
Everybody except Lucius. Lucius, I want you to roll a d20. I want everybody else to make a perception check at disadvantage.
I rolled an 18, friend.
Okay. And your intent is just to hold the statue until you blip away?
Yeah.
That's 15.
Okay.
That is a 5.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, I know. I'm
I
proud
got
of it.
I got a 20.
20. That's the number we're
Excellent.
looking for.
Yeah.
Florian, you watch Lucius put his hand on the statue. And you're thinking it's kind of weird. If it was a teleportation device, you should blink away once you touch it, or there should be some consistency. And there's not. But what you catch is that Lucius has his hand on the statue for a good 12 or 13 seconds. And you're starting to think maybe it won't work. And then you watch him blink. And the moment he blinks, he's gone.
And Florian will share his discovery with the group. No secrets here.
Have Scrappy close his eyes first.
Yeah,
though.
Scrappy, go up here, put your paw on it, and close your eyes.
So does Scrappy actually have eyes?
Let me look at the picture.
I'll go over there and I'll cover his eyes.
I mean, he has little glowing orbs.
Right,
they
but
probably
this, like,
radiate
does,
a bit
The
light.
question
why
is,
would you
does
give
he
him
have-
eyelids?
The question is, does he have eyelids? And I
Yeah.
think the answer is because he can.
Because he's a badger.
Like,
Remember, Scrappy was
Right.
modeled after something between a honey badger and a wolverine.
of
so-
course, when I think badger, I think eyelids.
Wait, do badgers have eyelids? This is actually a point of order. Let me look.
Either way, if he
So-
doesn't have eyelids,
When you place Scrappy's paw on the statue and then cover
Badgers
his
have 3 eyelids. They
and
have
then-
one that they can close to dig.
and then cover his eyes, at that point, Scrappy blinks away.
It's like you hear these.
oh,
little
he literally blinked.
like
Oh,
Scrappy's
this
eyelids.
wizard has a sense of humor, and I hate it.
Scrappy's eyelids make that camera shutter noise.
See, I was working on the impression that he probably had eyelids, but they just don't do anything unless you order him to close his eyes.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But yeah, apparently badgers have extra eyelids so they can dig.
Sure.
He
That's
doesn't
funny.
have eyelids, he has shutters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So one by one, we're all entering number 1 alcoves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although we can do it as a team now that we know the trick.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
We just stand
Link.
around the statue. Sailor planet power and vanish.
Lucius, you went through first, correct?
I did.
And you have all the dark vision in the world, correct?
I have 120 feet of dark vision. Yes,
You appear here.
I do
You
have.
can
I
look.
do still have. Mr. I still have.
So you can see all the way to the
Alexander's
end of here.
coin.
Uh,
So I have color and everything within 5 feet here.
Then your immediate surroundings at the circle looks identical to what I previously described. The walls look identical. The ceiling is about 12 feet above you, and you have a little divot in the floor at your feet, and then another one every 10 feet. But the hallway is incredibly long, then it looks like it makes a left turn towards the end. And you're waiting for a moment for your companions to show up, and you hear a loud thump, a loud crashing noise from the far hallway. So not only do you hear it, but then a moment after you hear it, you feel it reverberate down this hallway.
Draw my scepter,
Okay? And the rest of you can start blinking in whenever you want.
and that's the scene you would see as Lucius is holding this, clutching this coin and holding his scepter
Scrappy
pointed out to the
appears a
far
little
end.
bit before everybody else.
How do, Lucius? We figured it out.
There was something loud, and it felt like it vibrated the whole of this hallway. It goes down a,
Boom!
yeah, that it did it that, and
Wow.
the hallway turns off to the left down at the end of the hallway, a little ways down.
Burkroad,
When
how
you-
Boom!
Portal. Lucius, close your eyes, and that makes you go through.
Excellent, thank you.
how tall is the ceiling, Burkroad?
Boom! About 12 feet.
I'm gonna order Scrappy to go down to the end of that, and I'm gonna put the continual flame torch on the mount I have on his back.
All right. So you order Scrappy all the way down to the end of the hallway?
Yep.
That's a low roll. I don't like that roll. 9 points of sonic damage.
Mm-hmm.
As Scrappy walks through the hallway, and there's a loud boom, and he's blown backwards into the wall by some kind of unseen force.
All right, get back here, Scrappy.
And he limps back, and after a few seconds, boom!
I'm gonna
Once
pull
again.
out my smith's tools and start hammering out those dents.
What is the interval between the thumbs the same every time, or is it random?
How
I'm
long
gonna
are you
start
gonna sit
counting.
here?
I mean, as long as they'll let me, I'm gonna sit here and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Boom!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Boom!
Immediately after that one, I'm gonna poke my head around the corner.
Boom!
Oh,
Just in
no.
time. Oh, this is a considerably better roll. 22 points of sonic damage.
Oof.
So,
So this-
okay, so
this
times are a
answers the
half
question.
second apart.
That they are not in regular intervals.
As Seeker pulls back and is concussed.
Did I
Seeker,
see
you're-
anything before I got concussed?
Your bell is ringing. It's like your ears are popping out. I'll give you another 5 feet or so of this hallway. Boom!
This might not be the way to go for now.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So it takes 1 minute to do 1 mending to get most of his hit points back.
Okay.
And over the course of that
Seeker, I
1 minute,
can't hammer
you
that
heal.
out.